Hello everybody, Dren608 here. This is a short video on Starship Troopers, the latest module that I uploaded. It is a modification of the Lone Star module. You can find it in the Vvassal modules section. Then I'm just going to show you some of the things that I changed, give you an idea of the little bits of Chrome that I added and tightened up some odds and ends. I have logged in as the new side called Terran Humanoid. And we're going to go ahead now. If counters are not reacting the way you think they should, or if you're doing this to a saved file from some other version of this module, one of the things that you can do, I want to make sure people know this applies to all Vvassal modules unless the designer actually takes this function out, which I don't think you can anymore. You can click on Tools and you'll get a Refresh Counters selection. If you select that, you get to pick, uncheck this delete pieces without map. And check the first box. The other one shouldn't matter. You can always click on test mode to see what will happen. And some of these others should not apply to this one, but might apply to other things. If you want to be super safe, you can check on all of those so that it'll try and match everything that it can. I'm going to click on test mode here just so you can see what happens. It does a run. It tries to do its things. And it says 207 counters were refreshed. One counter cannot be refreshed because it's not on a map. I don't know what counter that is. And there was no parent stack. There's 0 of those. So it would have updated 207 or 207 counters, and there's 208 that it found, and one of them it doesn't know what to do with. Anyway, that's a way for you to get counters updated, especially if you're pulling a saved game and someone changes the module a bit and you want to try it. Copy your saved game somewhere else just in case it doesn't work, and you can use this function to try and update things. Okay, so that's just sort of an aside. So for this video, what we're going to do is we're going to pull out a Terran, several of these guys. One of the things you can do, if you don't want your opponent to know what you're pulling out of the card, if he's sitting there watching you set up, if you flip first and put it on the map, what you see is a question mark moved from off-buried tray to some hex. I also made sure that the reporting function now tells you the side as well as the player name that did that, so that you can know that hey, he's playing Terran Humanoid side and he moved something from the off-board tray. Okay, I'll do that. Once again, for those of you that don't know, if you go into the where is it? Baseboard notes here in the charts section. If you don't know what all the fast keys are to do things, there's a little tab here that says Quick Keys. If you click on it, it tells you everything it does. I alluded to this in a setup thing for the Arachnid setting up a hive using the Lone Star module. This is your friend. Having it available can be very helpful to let you bounce around on various quick keys. Plus, it also reminds you that to move a unit, you use the letter keys. I and K. So that's something else that can do. So you just see how I move the guy around using just my keyboard. Let's see, I already got one of those. I'm going to grab one of these and put him out there. And then I'm going to also grab an engineer because I'm going to show you some things with those. And, oh, that's the other thing I did. In scenarios that you have the bugs, and you have like listening devices or even the special talent, what I did is I put up in the off-board map box, this is a counter that's available for you to just type in whatever you want You can change the line text to whatever you want it to say. You can also change its color. I put out a set of these for how many ever listening devices you might have, and also things like a tunnel here. When you have the special talent, I also have another counter on this tray that says brain here. It's basically just to help the Terran player not try and figure out how do I mark where I found a tunnel or I think tunnels are. This will let you do that fairly quickly, and you can like highlight the whole thing like that, and then clone. It's a Control C to clone, so you can like clone a whole stack, and then put them down as your listening devices activate. So that's another little feature I've added. The biggest thing you'll see is all these guys have move tags to the right. It used to be that he put a little dot, the original owner put a little dot down here in the lower left-hand corner of a counter. Sorry, my old eyes, I can't really tell. And of course, my graphic skills, you can tell, leave a lot to be desired. But now I have a move tag to the right. Most of the games that I play, that's what they do. They put a move tag to the right of the counter. Not all, obviously, but most tend to do that. Just it becomes real obvious when you, if you zoom out like this, it's now easier to see, oh, those guys moved, because you can just see the tag hanging off the side. Okay. One of the things you can do with the, and you'll notice, if you have access to a flipped counter, it'll just flip when you tap it. It'll let you see what it is. One of the things I added is Terran units have this drop SW&E. Like in this case, he can build an HE, nuke, or a breach. So if I want to put down a nuke, what it used to do, if you use this key, what it used to do is it used to put that, I'm going to move him up, this would actually come out face up like this, and then you would have to invert it. Which is why on the cards, on the offboard card, you see all these counters here, so that you could invert them here and bring them out. Now, if you just want to use the counter shortcut, it will actually put them out as inverted so that the alien player doesn't know what's going on. So here I can do an Alt J, move up a hex, and Alt K, is it? And move up a hex, and do an Alt L, I think it is. And then move off to another space. Now each of these, there's an HNG, there's a DAR, there's a DAP. So they do that as well for the other functions. That's just a bit of Chrome. It was annoying when I would try to use the shortcut and all of a sudden the Arachnid player would know, hey, you just placed a nuke there. Okay. So now he doesn't know that. I think that's about it. For those of you that don't know, a lot of people, you go and fill out this sheet and you keep pulling it up to try and find who's got what. There's a shortcut that you can right-click on these guys, and it's actually Control-P is the shortcut. But you can always right-click to find these things. And there's like your engineer unit, and you could actually give it an individual name if you want to be really crazy. But then you can mark off, like, say he's got 3 HEs and 1 nuke. And it just keeps track of that. You can do that with a regular MI too. Whoops. And it lets you know, remember you can only have 1 HE, which is unlimited numbers, but if you have a nuke, you only have 4 shots. And you can carry up to a combined total of 4 DAP, DAR, and HNGs. So let's say we give him 2 DAPs and 2 HNGs, and we'll give him a listening device. And then we can call this guy Rico. And there you are, Rico out of the books. The only way to get out of this is you have to hit an X. You have to hit the red X. There's no shortcut for getting rid of it. But then anytime you're moving along, a lot of times you'll be like, oh, I think this guy had something, right? So you can highlight him, go Control-P, and it's like, oh, yeah, he does, okay? Your opponent won't see that when you do it because it's a private thing for just the Terran and Terran humanoid player. So that's one nice little feature. These things moved, gets removed when you click the button on all of them. So that function still works. It's just that now I decided I needed to be able to actually see that. To show you what I'm talking about, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to switch sides to the Arachnid player. One of the things that happens in the latest modules is it also tells you, based on your preferences, I believe it is. I think it's preferences. One of these things in here, I think, tells you in the chat window, maybe. I don't remember where it is. There's something in here. One of these things tells you to that you can grab the have that reported that somebody switched sides. Goes into the log file that way. Then I'm in all the Arachnid players. So now see, now I can get to the bug complex. And I'm going to do something that I do for anytime I'm playing the bugs. I highlight everything. I go Control B to flip everything that'll flip. Notice the engineers do not flip, but they're still highlighted. So then I can go Control V and they'll be hidden. So now if I grab an engineer and drop them on a hex, there you go. They do not have the ability to drop a breach or anything like that. You have to do things the hard way with them. I'm going to bring out some counters of theirs just so that we can show you what I'm talking about as far as I tightened up the hidden function. So, and then we're going to go out of here. So now you see here's a bunch of Arachnids. This engineer cannot be seen by anybody but the Arachnid player because it's hidden, and it's his layer in the hidden layer. But if I click on these guys, they don't flip. It used to be these guys would flip. You had to remember to not hit something if they weren't yours. Now, by accident, you can't do it. You can't move the MI or do anything really with them other than mark them moved or delete them. That's just the function of a counter. And you can't flip over these things. Your opponent has to do that. Now, if you switch to Solitaire, you switch sides again. Now I'm to Solitaire. Now I can flip all this stuff, and I can move these guys. Okay? So if you're playing Solitaire, you can flip everything around. Now we're going to go back to being the Terran Humanoid player. And now that I'm the Terran Humanoid player, I can't do anything to the bugs. And you see I can't see them, the tunnels or the engineer at all. I can still, flip over my own stuff, and it's something that I will see, not my opponent. And I can move my units, but I can't do anything with the Arachnids. Matter of fact, with the Arachnids, you can't even do anything but hide them. So that's the biggest things that I changed in the actual counters and things. You can also, if you're playing Humanoid versus Terran, and you click on the Terran player, he can't now touch the Humanoids. Still can touch his stuff, but he can't touch the Humanoids. And same thing applies if you go to the pure Humanoid side. They can look at their stuff, but they can't look at anybody else's things or do anything with them. The final thing that I did, final two things I did really. It used to be that the die roll here would pop up a little window, you'd hear a sound, and you'd see a die. And while it was cute, I found it to always be annoying that the window would just kind of pop up. I'd have to move it out of the way because I'd have to click back up here to roll the die again. I couldn't figure out a way that I was clicking inside the window to make it re-roll. Maybe somebody knows how that works, but I never could get it to work. So I decided that I was just going to go back to sort of a traditional die roll. The alien die roll, the Terran die roll, they're the same. I just put them up here for, aesthetic purposes. One of the things I'm thinking of doing, depends on the community, if there's enough people playing this that really want me to do it. I thought of adding a variable button, dice button, that lets you roll many dice at once. For like ranged combat, if somebody's got 4 or 6 guys in a hex, you might want to be able to do that. Or if there's a whole bunch of guys that are like within range of an Arachnid nuke, and you have to roll for like 6 or 7 of them, you can just say, okay, we're going to start here, we're going to go clockwise, and here's the die rolls. And you just go bang, 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 and resolve them all. I don't have that in here yet. It's something I can add, but I wanted people to have a chance to play with this and tell me what they're going to do. One of the things I did do, this is still the way it always was. His setups, he puts the game end on the turn that it actually, after the last turn. Some people like to move this to the last turn game of the game. That's purely up to you. This still works like it used to, flips to whichever side is taking its turn. So that's using this here. Up here in this docked function here is the turn sequence. I've changed it a little bit. You can set this when you're setting up things. You can go into a configure and configure all of this kind of stuff, player, turn, and such. What it does is, I tried to do this for all the scenarios. I should have the right guy that goes first starting off here when you start up the scenario, the predefined scenario. And then it goes through. I agree with the original owner. I have not quite figured out how to nest this between Terran and Arachnid. I'm still playing with that. But basically it comes down, if it's an Arachnid thing, you'll see that it says the sequence is always there. But if it's Arachnid turn only, it says that. And so the humanoid, Terran humanoid here, he's not supposed to do anything in that phase. He just skips through it. Goes to his movement. He gets weapon ranged attack after movement is for the Terran and humanoids only. So, the Arachnid player wouldn't do anything there. Then we finish off with close combat. And then we have the extended jump phase, which is the Terran turn only. If I can figure out a way to split this up, I will do it and add it to here, but that's down the road a bit. And then when you're done with the Terran turn, it rolls over to the Arachnid turn 1, and so on and so forth. And when you get done with the Arachnid turn, it goes to turn 2 for the Terran. So this should keep track of things properly. Some people like to keep track here as well. It can matter when you're trying to figure out some victory points and things. But that's kind of the other function that I added in was setting up the turn counters to work correctly. Other than that, everything else works like it used to. Like I said, I tightened up the hidden rules a little bit so that you can't inadvertently flip things over. And other than that, I don't think I have anything else. I think that's just about it. So, that is Starship Troopers. This is the Lonestar module, 1.3.3, modified by FHB, I believe it states. What did I call it? Starship Troopers Lonestar FHB modified 1.3.3. And it is working, as far as I can tell, on using Vvassal 3.5. Right now it's 0.3. I am trying to make sure all my modules stay up with their updates, with the Vvassal updates, because they are changing things underneath the hood that are helping us make things run faster. This was designed a long time ago in 3.2 point something. The original designer did this years ago. He put in everything that he could think of, basically was put into this module. I took out a couple things, and I've tried to tighten up a couple things that were, I think at the time, not easily implemented, but now they are with the updates that they've made to the module building process. Okay? So that's Starship Troopers. Hope you enjoy the module. I will be posting up for opponents. I would like to do a series of videos on all the scenarios. Like one video for every scenario. I'll play either side. I don't really care. I just want to have some videos out there that might stir up some interest here. We got enough interest for Victory Games game, and it's getting reprinted by GMT. So if we get enough people that are interested in this, we might be able to convince a company like GMT or somebody to try and do a reprint of this for all of us. So, I'm Gen608. If you like my videos, please subscribe, hit that like button. The like button's important because YouTube algorithms use it to decide if somebody looks for Starship Troopers and this has a whole bunch of likes, this will be up in the top of the queue for somebody to search and be able to find it and see this video. Okay, until we meet again, hopefully I'll have some videos for you the next time I do one of these, some scenario videos. Till that time comes around, you all stay safe, and bye-bye.